Elites, what's up, man? As y'all can see, I'm pushing them out, pushing out these video requests as fast as I can. I've came across some free time, and of course, I gotta stay committed and dedicated to my subscribers. You all make it possible. But this is another video request from Thelsh1000. I hope I said that right. Now, of course, as always, I'm live action, so you already know what it is. Okay, he writes, the sins or whatever, you know what I mean. Hey Ace, can you do a video on the Assassin's Creed series and explain what you like and don't like about the games? I would really like to hear your opinion on this series. Keep up the good work. Love the vids. Alright. Thanks Thelsh1000 for that. I'm glad you like the vids. I'm glad you think they're good work. Alright, now let's get started. Now the Assassin's Creed series. If you all never knew, you know now. I love the series. I've owned part 1 and beat it. I've owned part 2 and beat it. I've owned Brotherhood and beat it. I own Revelations, and I'm almost done. Almost. You know, I have a lot of games. You know, plus, you know, I work, have a life, etc., etc. You know, but I am gonna finish that up, possibly today or tomorrow, because you know, part 3 is, you know, will come out this year. But see, the thing is, I remember. Let me go back to it. I remember when I first heard about Assassin's Creed. I seen it in the Game Informer, and instantly when I seen it, I fell in love. Like I was like, man, just the whole world. I've never seen any game like I'm seeing Altair walking through the crowds with all those people. It's the way you have to, all those people you have to blend in. And the thing about it is, I remember doing E3 when they first showed Assassin's Creed. Even Hideo Kojima, he was very impressed. If you're a true gamer, you should know who Hideo Kojima is. I'm not even going to say who he is because you should already know if you're a true gamer. He was impressed with the demo, and he received a copy of the demo by Ubisoft. And hell, Hideo Kojima, he knows stealth. He loves stealth, so that's why he liked the Assassin's Creed series. And they did a little quick collaboration. You know, Metal Gear Solid 4. You can get the Altair outfit, and with let's see, Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, I believe you can get Raiden's armor, you know, from Metal Gear. So they did a little back and forth collaboration thing. I thought that was cool. But let's see, Assassin's Creed Part 1, of course, takes place in the Third Crusade in Jerusalem, and that I really like, because how many games do you know take place in Jerusalem? And they had everything so damn near perfectly close to the structures and everything. The way they recreated these areas from these landmarks and areas that are pretty much look very different from how they look in the game, of course, because you go in those certain areas in Jerusalem, of course it's not going to look like that. Now, some of the buildings are not there, some are more worn, torn, or stripped and everything, but the way they recapture the essence of the worlds and the time periods, it really just pulled you in. Like, it just kept you immersed in the title. And to me, Assassin's Creed, if it doesn't have the best, it have one of the best stories and plots ever, because it is so damn original. And then it's like just the worlds, the authenticity of the landmarks, how they are historically accurate with things, the gameplay, the enemies, you know, the Templars, literally the Assassin's Creed, the way they explain that, you know, the finger and the hidden blade. I do like the characters in Assassin's Creed. They have some fiction. A lot of them was based off of real characters. Altair, I do love his character. I mean, hell, he's the, you know, like the original one of it all. And, you know, then it goes over to Part 2. And I'm not going to lie. Before Part 2 came out, you know, they talked about the trend they were going to have, where it goes on to like each sequel goes further and further in the future throughout history. So I'm thinking, okay, what is Part 2 going to be about? Then when I seen it was in a Renaissance era, you know, in Italy, I'm thinking like, I'm not too big on old French and Italy, Italian, you know, kind of thing. That's not really my forte. However, I did love Assassin's Creed 2. It still pulled me into it. The world was still interesting. The way it was more structured. You know, Ezio, he comes from a different of course, naturally different upbringing than Altair. Obviously, two different, you know, parts of the world, everything, and you know, and timelines. And with Ezio, as we see, he has. I like the thing that they put in part 2 as he has a lot of money and power. The way you can open up all the different stores, the way you have your big match, and the way when you collect the armors and different swords, the way you can upgrade things, increase your pouch to hold items. The dual blades, of course, jump down on guys with both blades, or just stick them right in the back of their necks as you're walking up on somebody. That I do love. I also loved with part 2 how it will switch back to Desmond every now and then, because because part 1 left off with a big cliffhanger that drove me crazy. Those are the worst cliffhangers to me, at least, is when it's a cliffhanger through a game, because games take years to make. And of course, I know what you think. Well, if it's Call of Duty, yeah, but whatever. Yeah. So when part 2 came about, I loved how it switched to Desmond. And he started, and there's a part in part 2 where you actually control Desmond and you're hopping around and climbing and doing the same things that Altair and Ezio did, because obviously they are related. You know, they are his ancestors. So I did like that, how Desmond is starting to incorporate technically what was already in his genes that he knew. And I started to think like, okay, part 3, I wonder. Yeah, I like that. I want like part 3. I wonder if eventually is it gonna go to Japan. I always wanted to go to China or Japan, some kind of Ronin Shogun, Japanese Edo period. I wanted that so bad. And now I'm kind of thinking like, okay, well, how would that really tie in and work? So I'm thinking like, okay, his ancestors went from Jerusalem. Of course, then it traced back to you know, being in Italy, then traced back to being in Japan or whatnot. But of course, it never went there. However, there were other assassins within the creed around the world. If you recall, for all the ones we have part 2, you go down into the basement, and if I recall, that's what it was. You see statues of other great assassins. And in the middle is Altair's, you know, his little statue and throne. And you see one from China. You see a statue, one I believe from Africa, all over the world. You know, those were like almost like the greats, as you will. But I really wanted a Japanese, Chinese one, that, you know, Assassin's Creed, but of course that wasn't the case. So after part 2, there was Brotherhood, and after Brotherhood there was Revelations. And one thing I am loving about Revelations is how it's tying up all the loose ends of Altair and Ezio. I mean, how it's going along through the story. They're both older now, and I mean, the symbolic message of the history that that Ezio is figuring out about Altair, that I love, because here you have Desmond. He's trying to figure out he's trying to figure out things of his ancestors, and here we are looking at Ezio trying to do the same thing with Altair. I love how the gameplay has evolved and expanded through part 2, Brotherhood and Revelation. It wasn't just walk around, assassin, chase. Walk around, assassin, chase. No, that wasn't the case. You have, of course, you tail your enemies, but that was in part 1 as well. But when you meet Leonardo da Vinci, and there's one scene where you control the tank. There's one scene in Revelation, you hop on a flamethrower taking out the ships. There's another scene, you be on the boat, and you have to, I believe, shoot fire arrows at the sails on the big sailboats or the pirate ships to prevent them from sailing out to sea. I love how they switch up that type of gameplay, and different types of weapons, adding different amounts of strategy, hiding in hay, and the multiplayer mining. Multiplayer was very fun, but it could be very frustrating as well, and it did take a lot of patience. That's one of the things, hell, an assassin needs anyway, you know, an assassin, a ninja, whatever. But part 3, when I first heard about part 3 and seeing that it was going to take place in America during the Revolutionary War, I really thought that was genius. And this is the thing, I know I've heard other people say this too, and I've read comments like this. Shame on me, but the Revolutionary War, it never really interested me. You know, I'm sorry, with the whole muskets and the red coats and all, you know, the British are coming. that never, you know, and I did some research as to why people at first was really excited about the time era in Assassin's Creed 3, and they said maybe because it's based off of some history. No, we are Americans. We live in America. Like, this is something we've been shown and seen and taught, and that's been talked about all throughout our lives. We've been taught this in school and college. It's like, okay, but I know how Ubisoft, they are very, very accurate and highly detailed. They are never lazy with this series. Hell, pretty much all the games they make. And again, to see how accurate they made these things in a way they, I mean, the way they, how accurate they captured the world of America, you know, New York and Boston, the Revolutionary War. It just blew me away, because now you're adding in an assassin into the mix, and it really makes you wonder, man, like, it's a different time era in a region adds in more possibilities. And when I say that, here it is, I'm thinking like, well, he's in the, like, in the wilderness more. He's in the open up, like he's in the wild. He's going through trees, mountain cliffs. You're taking on animals like, you know, deers, wolves, bears, all those kind of things. You're in the snow. That implements different amounts of gameplay right there. The enemies will move different. He has new weapons, and he's mixed with a Native American. He's mixed. I believe his mother was Native American and his father was white, and of course he grew up with his mother. Connor, that's his name. Well, that's his I can't pronounce his Native American name, but Connor is his white name. And you know, he's grown up in the tribe and everything, and it does make me wonder when he gets access to the creed or decide to take up arms or the devotion. But the directors and publishers did say, you know, don't think it's gonna be a typical, oh, you know, who are American fans? Like, yeah, I'm an assassin fighting for America against the Redcoats. No, the Templars will still play a vital role in this. And they said there will be corrupt Americans, because we all know that still goes on to this very second, freaking corrupt Americans. So Connor, he is gonna have his allies in this title from America, as well as his enemies from America. Also, I know that's going to make him second guess when we look at America. At first, he might think that, like, well, can I trust these Americans, you know, the white man, seeing as how they're the one who did this to my village. The way he has a different fighting style, different from Altair and Ezio. The way he's more of an offensive character, and I love the way he can run and still just attack and keep on moving. The way he can go through the houses, and of course throughout Assassin's Creed 3, it will do like time skips, like, you know, 3 years, 15 years, things like that. And this is my prediction. I'm calling it right now, Elise. There will be add-ons like to Assassin's Creed 3, for example, how there was Assassin's Creed 2, Assassin's Creed 2 Brotherhood, then Assassin's Creed Revelations, which is basically another continuation of Part 2. So I think Part 3 is going to grow and expand real far. But after Part 3, it just might get more into modern time civilization, because as Desmond keeps using the Animus to live the lives of his ancestors, things are still going on in his life. That's one thing I do like about the Assassin's Creed. So, you know, here it is where you have to wonder, like, okay, after Part 3, is the final Assassin's Creed going to be in the modern society? You know, that I really would like, because, you know, the modern Templars and Desmond and his crew, and all the puzzles. I love the puzzles, you know, the Apple of Eden and everything. I like how they implement that, leave little secrets and everything. How you, in Part 2, you get all the puzzles right, you connect, like, it gives you like 1 second of a clip, and you get to see what the whole clip is if you get all the pieces of the puzzle correct. Let's see, what I don't like about it, that's kind of a tough one, man, because Assassin's Creed is so unique and original as far as like character design, the story, everything. It's really hard to say what it is not to like about that series. But man, hell, I'll probably let y'all know in the comment section below if I think on it more. But yeah, Thelsh1000, I hope you, oh yeah, before I end this, I was very glad, and I predicted how they put Ezio on Soul Calibur 5. That I predict they were going to do, and they did it. And he is a good character, very good character. But if you want to know, my favorite character in Assassin's Creed is Connor, already, by far. Already. I mean, I've read everything on him so far, but just the way he is, he's mixed with Native American. To me, he seems like the most aggressive. I believe if all three of them were to switch roles in their worlds, they would each have a tough time getting through. Probably, yes, no, maybe so, whatever. But yeah, yeah, Connor, he's my favorite one. Can't wait to get it. I will get the collector's edition, but like I said in my previous video, I did not see anything that was worth me paying that extra money for the collector's edition, so I just might get the regular edition, unfortunately. But hey, I hope you enjoyed this Thelsh1000. For all of the elites who are watching, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it as well. There's another video request done. This is the Elite Ace. I'm signing off.